And now for the rest of the story. It was 1968 in swinging London, and a quiet, intensely gifted young British blues guitarist named Peter Green was wrestling with a broken heart. He had left the mighty John Mayall and the Blues Breakers, stepping into the shoes once filled by a certain Eric Clapton, and formed a new band with a rhythm section that would one day become legends in their own right, Fleetwood Mac. Peter had been smitten with a woman he affectionately called his Magic Mama. Her real name was Sandra Elsden, and she had cast quite a spell, but the relationship had ended, leaving him haunted. Drawing from an Otis Rush blues number he had played in Mayall's band, Peter borrowed the opening lines and wove them into something entirely his own, a slow, smoldering, minor key lament about a woman whose love felt like sorcery, dangerous, and irresistible. Got a black magic woman. Got a black magic woman. Fleetwood Mac released it as a single. It climbed to number 37 on the British charts. Respectable for a bluesy B-side kind of track in those days, but nothing earth-shattering. Peter Green poured his soul into those 3 minutes of sustain and reverb, delivering exquisite guitar solos that felt like whispers from another world. The band moved on. 2 years later, on the other side of the Atlantic, a young Latin rock band led by a guitar virtuoso named Carlos Santana was preparing their second album. They had just lit up Woodstock. They needed a follow-up that could capture lightning in a bottle a second time. During sessions for what would become the multi-platinum masterpiece Abrexas, they took Peter's song, infused it with a hypnotic Latin clave rhythm, layering in driving congos and tambos, and let Carlos' soaring guitar take flight over the top. They even wove in a snippet of another tune, Gypsy Queen. The result? A smash hit that soared to number 4 on the American charts. Suddenly, Black Magic Woman was everywhere: radio, turntables, and the hearts of a new generation that assumed it had always belonged to Santana. But here's where the tale takes its most poignant turn. Peter Green, the man who wrote those haunting words and that unforgettable melody, would soon face his own demons, struggles with mental health, a brush with the occult scene, and a heartbreaking descent that led him to leave Fleetwood Mac, give away much of his wealth, and even take humble jobs, including, at one point, work as a gravedigger just to get by. Yet through it all, those royalty checks from a certain Latin band's cover kept arriving. They provided a quiet lifeline for the songwriter who had poured his pain into those chords years earlier. Mick Fleetwood himself would later note that Santana's version helped sustain Peter when the spotlight had long since moved on. Today, millions still hear that seductive riff and think of Carlos Santana's fiery interpretation. Few remember the soft-spoken Englishman who first cast the spell. And now you know the rest of the story. Good day.